and they're now really starting to pick up. I'll step out of the way here so you can get a much closer view, but the flames are ramping up. I was just speaking to one person who was driving by checking in on a friend of his, and they're all very scared. It's a very scary time right now, people have been telling us, but business is kind of going on as usual. We saw a school bus drive by taking some kids to school this morning. As we go through these turns, you want to be very, very slow because you'll skid a little bit, especially if you have only front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. If you have four-wheel drive, you're in a little bit better shape, but even still, you still want to drive slow, be mindful of the road and the people around you. In the last 15 minutes, officers in tactical gear were banging forcibly on the door of this home that you see behind me, and I'll step out of the way so you can get a better picture. In tactical gear with a search warrant trying to get inside. They were unable to get in through the front door initially. They were able to get in through the back. Good evening, I'm Tyler Melito. Thank you for joining us. We start with a developing story out of Texas tonight. Authorities in Texas still searching for a suspect behind the senseless killing of 5 people just north of Houston. As you come back here this morning and you see the boards on the bank behind us, just what is going through your head to describe it to the people at home who may have never seen this in their own backyard?
It was a tragic situation yesterday that could have been much worse. Thanks to the bravery of the police officers, they saved lives.
I'm outside my car right now, outside my apartment, getting it ready for severe weather. We got water and snacks for everyone in the car, a spare charger, a backpack filled with a map just in case, jumper cables, but it seems like I forgot a few items. So let's head back inside to get those necessary items should severe weather hit. Kentucky Emergency Management has 3 pillars of preparedness should severe weather comes in. Yourself, your car, and your home. If you have those 3 things ready, you and your family will be A-OK, safe and secure the next time a big storm runs through. So let's head inside real quick. We have all this stuff lined out. Come on in. All right. First things first, if the power goes out, you want to have batteries lying around for a flashlight or anything like that, or you can have a nice scented candle. That works as well. If you're like me and need to keep your medications cool, having a cooler bag with an ice pack inside, those will be your best bet, or your pills lying around if that's how you take your medication. As we saw in the flooding back in July, many people lost valuable documents during that weather event. So having a waterproof box with those documents inside that you can either easily grab should you're running out, or if it does get lost, they will stay safe and they will stay dry. That's going to be your best bet for those items. Now, tornadoes. You want to have a secure spot away from a window to stay safe from, to take cover from. Bathroom, closet are your best bet. Always know where you're going to exit. We just came in through the front door. That's going to be our evacuation path. Now, here are the items that I was missing for the car. A blanket, one for every person, as well as a change of clothes. Regardless of the weather, whether it be spring, summer, fall, winter, you want to have a blanket and some extra clothes for whatever temperatures may be thrown your way. And I'll step out of the way so you get a better view of this scene right now. I-75 completely blocked off northbound near the split to I-64. They do expect I-75 to be opened back up within the hour. Traffic has been deviated off exit 110 towards Winchester Road. Yeah, so I will be there. I will be there. You know what's great about Star Wars is that you can still be a child at heart.
Oh, yes.
I'm wearing Star Wars colored lightsaber shoes. Oh my God. Not planned, but.
That is awesome. How many batteries did they take?
0, fortunately. Yes.
Wait, are you serious? Or
we're going to roll with it because it's Star Wars Day.
Tyler.
It's going great, Krista. I got to use my golf voice, though. As you can see behind me, the play is continuing here at the Barbasol Championship. Round 1 started about 6:45 this morning. More than 150 players teeing it up over the course of the next few days here at Keene Trace Golf Club. And see right behind me on Tates Creek Road, this area is pretty rough. And I was speaking to a couple of those workers just moments ago before we came over here from the horse park, and they're saying they're not arborists. They don't cut trees for this. So trees down like this on top of wires and breaking the wires and breaking the poles makes their job a lot harder and requires a lot more patience. The Jessamine County Homeless Coalition is in a bit of a bind after buying a tract of toxic land. Testing shows the land is contaminated with high levels of lead and arsenic. The area was purchased in 2019 from the city of Nicholasville and was meant to be used to build transitional housing. But now the Homeless Coalition is selling it instead to fund renovations of its center opening next year. Overnight, Lexington police are investigating after one person was shot. LPD says it happened around 10:30 last night on Devonport Drive. Our crew was on the scene just afterward. Later on, police confirmed a man was shot and went to the hospital. Fortunately, though, his injuries are not life-threatening. This high-intensity crosswalk system, otherwise known as Hawk, is going to make lives a lot easier on the UK campus. As you can see, the light is now turning solid red, meaning that I have the ability to cross the street freely. Drivers have to stop as if they're stopping at any other red light in the city of Lexington. From there, the light will turn flashing red, meaning that this intersection now becomes one as if it was a stop sign. I want to draw your attention as our photographer zooms in. You could still see a little bit of smoke coming from the rubble. Now, it doesn't seem like this is any active threat, as firefighters are just observing and monitoring the scene and seeing what damage has been done. As you can kind of see, they're also tearing apart, trying to find a cause. One man, however, was able to escape the barn from the apartment above. It was a two-story barn. There was an apartment above it. He was able to escape because he heard the horses crying for help. People whom I've spoke with at gas stations across Ironworks Pike and on Georgetown Road, they've basically been saying, yeah, how do we get to Lexington? How do we get to Lexington? Well, I don't have all the answers. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's because there seems to be so much uncertainty right now, but it seems like this. If you can get to Ironworks Pike, turn onto that and head towards Newtown Pike and drive that way into Lexington, that's your best bet. People have been coming by here in the last hour plus, dropping off flowers, dropping off food, and just dropping off hugs and support. This is a community that is hurting right now. One person drove on their bicycle earlier this morning and told me that he knew Deputy Connolly personally, said he was an amazing person. He loved this community and he'll be greatly missed. And I'm sure that person is not the only person who has those kind words to say about Deputy Connolly. Plenty of berries to go around. The Tasty Berry is available to be picked every Tuesday through Saturday. And if you're looking for some extra fun, check out their festival happening this weekend, featuring live music, food trucks, and much more. And Kristen, because you're such a great friend, thank you so much for bringing me some. What were you going to be making these with? I might make Chef Bridget's lemonade that she made a little bit earlier, assuming I don't eat them all. But that was your news now. Back over to you.
You got to share those. I brought them back for everybody.
Oh, not just for me.
Not just for you. Do you like them though?
They are delicious.
All right.
For horse racing fans, this voice is the soundtrack of May in Kentucky.
The Twin Spires of Churchill Downs preside over the celebration of spring, that is Kentucky Derby Day.
Growing up in Lexington and going to the University of Kentucky, Tom Hammond has been around horse racing and horse culture since he was young.
It's an experience you can't replace, you can't duplicate. Being right there next to the horses, learning the lingo, learning what to look for.
Naturally, memories of his first Kentucky Derby stay with him.
I saw Northern Dancer win, and that was, 1964. He just caught my imagination. He won the Preakness as well, and so I said, I've got to go see him go for the Triple Crown. So I went to New York to see him. He did not win the Triple Crown.
34 years at NBC, Hammond has seen and done it all.
NFL football games, Notre Dame football games, NBA games, college basketball games, 13 Olympics. Obviously horse racing, the Triple Crown and the Breeders' Cup.
But even still, most of the people he comes across, all they want to talk about is the Derby.
It's a spectacle quite unlike anything else.
And why is that, you think?
Because it's not only a rite of spring, and it's not only a chance to see the great athletes competing for millions of dollars in purse money and millions of dollars at stud if they can succeed. So the drama and the pressure, but also the the hats, and it's a party, it's a celebration. You hardly see that at any other sporting event that can take in so many aspects and make it all into one spectacular afternoon.
Although he won't be at the Derby this year in person, there's still one part that he still looks forward to the most, even after all these years.
I still get emotional when they play my old Kentucky home and the horses come on the track. It makes me sentimental, and it makes me remember all the great things about horse racing that I've experienced. Gary Stevens is a good friend of mine and one of the great jockeys in recent years. And he said that no matter how long you've been riding and no matter how many things you've accomplished, when you come on the track, even if you're not from Kentucky, when they play my old Kentucky home, it gets you a little bit choked up, and you have to kind of remind yourself that I've got to go to work here, I've got to ride this horse, I've got to be at the top of my game. But for a Kentuckian, and for a Kentuckian involved in lots of ways in horse racing, it's a special moment.
I don't have him to go to anymore if I need to. Plenty of times I've reached for my phone, seeing something funny, and started to send it to him and not been able to.
June 30th will forever be a dark day for Chase Petrie and his family. It's the day Chase's father, Floyd County Deputy Sheriff William Petrie, was killed in the line of duty.
I was up actually on the golf course up here at Stonecrest, and I was just playing with some friends, and I heard about it on Facebook. Not that my dad was involved, that it was going on. I texted Mom, and I was like, well, I said, is Dad there? Because I figured he would have been. If something was going on, he was always the first one to run towards it. I needed to go home. I don't know what it was that I started to go home, and I called my mom when I got in the car, and she had told me to stop at my uncle's. Someone had called him and told us that it had happened, and so we rushed off the hill and came home.
Realization that his father was gone came in an instant. At 19, it forced Chase to grow up fast.
Being able to help each other, especially the little ones, my niece, she's had a hard time with it, and to be able to be here, help her, and try to just, I don't know, be there for her. It's just been a lot.
One thing that's helped Chase through it, the outpouring of love and support from all corners of Kentucky.
Well, there was one woman that texted me and said that my dad saved her daughter one night, said she was having trouble. She had called someone and Dad had rushed over there and was able to get her to the hospital.
Although his dad is gone, a lifetime of memories were left behind.
He was the most hard-working, kindest person I've ever known, but he was always there for me. We loved golfing, and we just had the most fun with each other.
As people reflect on that horrible day, Chase hopes the community remembers what it takes to wear a badge.
I want them to remember the sacrifice that my dad and the 3 others made, and all of the officers that were injured that night. It's a dangerous job, and it's not getting any safer.
If Chase could say one thing to his dad,
that I'm gonna make him proud, that I'm gonna do what he showed me and make him proud, and I'm gonna take care of Mom and my family and do what he wanted me to do and push on.
the first step towards success is simple.
Show up every day. Whatever your struggle is, just show up.
It's a lesson Bourbon County High School teacher Jessica Spangler says she learned from her student, Ezekiel Scoro.
When that alarm clock goes off, I'm not exactly jumping out of bed, but he comes every day, and if he's tired, he just shows up.
It may not seem like a lot, simply showing up for class, but for this high school senior, it's a feat worth celebrating.
After a long day of school, of trying to learn content in a completely different language, then he goes to his job and works 40 hours per week.
That's right. In addition to being a full-time student, Ezekiel has a full-time job, working at an aluminum factory in Paris. It's something his supervisor, Ryan Johnson, says he's still having trouble wrapping his mind around.
Yeah, I think back when I was his age years ago, and to have a full-time job, to do what he's doing, and work all day and go to school, I'm extremely impressed.
Needless to say, if anyone deserves a senior skip day, it's Ezekiel.
Sometimes he works till 3 a.m. and then he comes to school. He only gets 4 hours of sleep a night. It makes me tired just thinking about it.
But that's just not who he is.
You must see to it that what you do every day is helping you get closer to what you want. And if you aren't on the right path, you must get rid of everything that doesn't help you.
He's a student shaping his future, one day at a time.
He's just a great person. Ezekiel definitely deserves the world.